Hello guys, myself Gaurav Bansod, and in today's lecture and through this slide I will be teaching you the concept of linear convolution based on the DSP processor, which is TMS320C6748. So the whole intention to bring this subject is to tell you how to write a C code for convolution, and then consecutively how to execute it through our DSP processor. So through this slide, you will understand how to write a C function for a convolution, linear convolution. As you know that convolution is an integral that expresses the amount of overlap of one function as it is shifted over another function. Therefore, it blends one function with another. So this is very popular equation where we are convoluting x of n and h of n. If it is a discrete, then summation m equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of m multiplied by h of n minus 1, or h of m multiplied by x of n minus 1. And if it is continuous signal, then x of t convolution with h of t, which is equal to integration minus infinity to plus infinity x of tau multiplied by h of t minus tau d tau. So it can be x of t minus tau and h of tau. So it depends whether you have to take the mirror image and delay the h function, or take the mirror image and delay the x function. So as multiplication gives you the same result. Okay, so in order to understand the C code, so I thought of taking this example, so that very basic example, so that it would be easy for all of us to dive into the bracket where we can write easily the C code for convolution. So let's take this example where I am having a two samples, which is x and h, which is the two discrete samples. So x is having 4 samples which are placed at the amplitude values 1, 2, 3 and 4, and h is exactly the mirror image of it. So the values at h is 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is a very popular box method through which you can easily find out what would be the output, what would be sampled output, for example y of t or y of tau. So 1, 2, 3, 4, x of tau getting convolved with the function h of tau, which is 4, 3, 2, 1, and the output will be y of tau, which is 4. Then by dissecting it diagonally, 8 plus 3 11, 12 plus 6 plus 2 20, 16 plus 9 plus 4 plus 1 30, 12 plus 6 plus 2 20, 8 plus 3 11, and for total 7 samples I will get, which are 4, 11, 20, 30, 20, 11, 4 through this box method. And as you know, the rule in convolution that output samples will be always depends on the length of x and length of h minus 1. So output definitely I will get, in our case 4 plus 4 8 minus 1, total 7 output I will get. So I will have output y of 0, y of 1, y of 2 to y of 6 if y is my output signal. Yeah, so this was I was talking about, where I will get the convolution of these two signals as 4, 11, 20, 30, 20, 11 and 4. So this is what I have drawn the signal, which is x of 0 is 1, 2, 3, 4, x of 0 is 1, x of 1 is 2, x of 2 is 3, x of 3 is 4. Similarly, h of 0 is 4, h of 1 is 3, h of 2 is 2, and h of 3 is 1. Okay, so now it depends. Now these two signals I need to convolve, and after now in convolution I need to make sure that whether I have to make one function as x of minus tau plus tau, x of minus tau plus t, or h of minus tau plus t by definition. So you have to choose whether you have to go and take the inverse of the h function and delay it by t, or take the inverse of the x function and delay it by t. So in my case I am inverting x, you can invert h also, the result will be same in multiplication. If you see this diagram, I exactly took the mirror image of x function. So previously x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3 was 1, 2, 3, 4. if I take exactly the mirror image, antipodal, exactly mirror image of this, then I will get exactly x of 3, x of 2, x of 1 and x of 0, which is 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is my mirror image. So this I am talking about is x of minus tau, this function. Now this function will get convoluted with the function h. So, and what I have to do is simply I need to convolute this function and delay it by t. So that becomes x of minus tau, which is this function, plus t. So every time I need to delay it by t and see that which areas are overlapping and find out the sample. Then again delay it by t, areas are overlapping, find out the sample. So the same procedure I need to do again and again until this overlapping section ends. So if you observe, so what will the first signal which get overlapped is x of 0, this x of 0 multiplied by h of 0. Then x of 1 multiply x of 0 multiplied by h of 0, this is my first sample. After delaying it by t, if I delay it more by t, then x of 0 multiplied by h of 1 plus x of 1 multiplied by h of 0. So this is how the concept is all about. Yep. So if you see this, so in the first case, my x of 0 gets multiplied with h of 0, which is 1 multiplied by 4. And in the second case, x of 0 will be multiplied with h of 1 if I delay it by t, and plus x of 1 will be multiplied by h of 0. If I delay it further by t, then x of 0 will be multiplied by h of 2 plus x of 1 will be multiplied with h of 1 plus x of 2 will be multiplied with h of 0. And if I delay further by t, then it will be a complete overlap where x of 0 multiplied by h of 3, x of 1 multiplied by h of 2 plus x of 2 multiplied by h of 1 and x of 3 multiplied by h of 0, which is 1 into 1 plus 2 into 2 plus 3 into 3 plus 4 into 4. So this was I was talking about, where it has shown the 4 overlaps, which is x of 0 multiplied by h of 0, then x of 0 multiplied by h of 1 plus x of 1 multiplied by h of 0 gives me 11, 20, and that 30, the peak value which I will get where it's completely overlapped, where x function and s function are completely overlapped. This is the maximum value, this is the peak output I will get when the two waves or two signals are completely overlapped. Yeah, so this is exactly how it look like when it is completely overlapped. Is that? Where x of 0 multiplied by h of 3 plus x of 1 multiplied by h of 2 plus x of 2 multiplied by h of 1 plus x of 3 multiplied by h of 0, which gives me the value as 30. And similarly so on. Sorry. So later samples, later functions which I will get is 20, 11 and 4. You can do it on your paper and can find it out, these functions. So this is the simple piece of C code which I wrote. So definitely I would be needing 2 for functions, because x of 0 multiplied by h of 0, then x of 0 multiplied by h of 1 plus x of 1 multiplied by h of 0. So I required 2 indexes. So one is I, one which take care of x, another is j which take care of h function. So definitely I should have 2 for loops, or better to say nested for loops. And definitely the upper for loop should run for total number of output samples which it has to calculate, which in my case will be 4 plus 4, 8 minus 1, which is 7, where in this code if you see the variables used are m and n, which is m is the length of x and n is the length of h, which is 4 and 4 samples minus 1. So I will get, and my output is y of I, which is y of 0 to, from y of 0 to y of 6. So let's see this code. Then, so outside for loop will run for I is equal to 0 to I less than 7, total 7 times. Then I made another for loop which is for j equal to 0, j less than or equal to I, j plus plus. So in the first case, the I value is 0, so j value is also 0. So 0 is less than or equal to 0. So it satisfies the condition, it enters into the loop. What happens in the loop? That y of I plus is equal to x of j multiplied by h of I minus j. So my j value here is 0, which gets multiplied with h of I minus j. So here I value is also, what is my I value? 0. So 0 minus 0, I will get 0. Next time the j increments. If j increments, j becomes 1. And if it is 1, it is less than or equal to 0. This condition will not be satisfied. So for the first instance, this loop will only run for one time. So it gives me y of 0 multiplied by x of 0 multiplied by h of 0, which I will get 1 multiplied by 4, which is 4. Now second time, it comes out of this lower for loops, inside for loops, and then I becomes 1. So next time now it will run for 2, because I equal to 1, j is 0, and then I equal to 1 and j equal to 1. Because the condition is the loop runs when j is less than or equal to I. In the previous case, it only run for one time because j and I value was 0. And after that j increments, which does not qualify that condition. But in the second case, when I equal to 1, so j is 0, is less than or equal to 0, j is 0, which is less than or equal to 1, and then 1. So it runs 2 times. So when I becomes 1, what happens? Y of 1, I will get x of 0 multiplied by h of I minus j. Here in the I, the value is 1, j value is 0, which is 1 minus 0, gets added to x of 1, because next time the j value increases by 1 multiplied by h of 1 minus 1, which is 0. So, and the next time, and it becomes 2, but I value is 1, so it comes out of the loop. And third time, the I value becomes 2. So now it will run for I equal to 2, j equal to 0, then I equal to 2, j equal to 1, then I equal to 2, and j equal to 2. It gives me function x of 0 multiplied by h of 2, which is 2 minus 0, then plus x of 1 multiplied by h of 1, which gives me 2 minus 1, plus x of 2 multiplied by 2 minus 2, which is 0. So this gives me 4, 11, 20, and so on. So I hope this small C function is pretty clear to you. The whole crux lies in two nested for loops, where I am using the output y of I, and that I am equating it to x of j multiplied by h of I minus j. And I am using the important condition in this, that for j equal to 0, j less than or equal to I. So that holds the whole crux. So you should concentrate on that condition. I hope the C code for this convolution is pretty much clear to you. Oh, so this is how I write the C code, where I took the variable length as 4 and 4. I asked the user what is the variable length, so I can decide that how many times the for loop should run. I insert the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the same for loop which we have discussed. And then whatever the y of I output, I just print it. So I will get 4, 11, 20, 30, 20, 11, and 4. So this is my sampled output of two functions, x of n and h of n, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 respectively, and 4, 3, 2, 1 respectively. So this is the C code for convolution. I hope it's pretty clear to you, the meaning and the importance of this C function. And then now next challenge is on what platform we should execute this C code. So our whole theory is to execute this C code on TMS320C6748, which is our 32-bit DSP floating point processor. So where to write this function? So I need to write this C function on a simulator called as CCS, Code Composer Studio. This is the Code Composer Studio is the simulator used for writing the C codes for all these DSP processors, where you select the target device, you write the C code, you debug it, and you check the output on DSP processors, just like similar to the Keil Microvision 4 or 5, which basically you use for 8051 or LPC21 for it. So this is the YouTube video which is available, which tells you the step-by-step execution, how to execute the C file on CCS Studio. This video is uploaded by Wikinode Foundation, which is a non-profit organization, and this video is demonstrated by Professor Sujit Wagh. So you can go through this video to see that how in CCS environment the same C file which we have discussed will get executed step by step. It's crystal clear video and it's similar to the Keil, so you can get the feel of it within 5 minutes. Open a new file, edit the new file, add the new file, save it with the help of extension called as .c. Then you compile it to get the syntax error. If you don't get the error, jump to the debugging window, connect it to the emulator, and so on. So very interesting video, very simple video, where you can learn the step how to execute the C file in this environment. I hope the experiment number 1, which is related to the DSP in the subject advanced processor, is crystal clear. How to design a C code for convolution and execute it on DSP TMS 320 C6748 platform. Thank you very much.